Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to memorize the structure of the heart in 5 minutes. So without further ado, let's get into it. First of all, the heart is a vital area of the body. So memorize that. Vital area, VA. That's the acronym we're going to be using. But for now, let's take a quick look at the heart and recap on things, right? So first of all, we're going to be taking blood through the vena cava from the rest of the body, and it's going to enter the right atrium. From the right atrium, it's going to go to the right ventricle. From here on out, it gets pumped out through the pulmonary artery to the lungs. From the lungs, it gets transported through the pulmonary veins to the left atrium, where the blood makes its way to the left ventricle, where it's pumped out to the aorta, to the rest of the body, where it eventually makes its way back to the vena cava, back to the right side of the heart. Really important to know that you can ignore everything for now, but really important to know that this side of the heart is the right hand side, and this side of the heart is the left side of the heart, right? So everything is named accordingly, right atrium for example. And another really important thing is for you to understand that there are 4 main chambers, and that's what you should memorize first. Ignore everything else, memorize the 4 main chambers, the right and left atrium and the right and left ventricle. Some other definitions: the artery will always take blood away from the heart. That's really important. And the vein will always take blood to the heart. And the pulmonary word, the word pulmonary basically is always associated with something to do with the lungs. So this is a very simple exercise that you need to be confident in doing, first of all, right? Before doing anything else, I want you to be able to write down lungs, rest of the body, and these 4 chambers. Right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, and left ventricle. So what the exercise is for you to create arrows going from one structure to the other. Every structure has to have an arrow going somewhere, and obviously it needs to be correct. So from the rest of the body, it's going to make its way to the right atrium, making its way to the right ventricle, making its way to the lungs, making its way to the left atrium, making its way to the left ventricle, and then making its way to the rest of the body. And now we've created a cycle. And so what this means, if you're doing this confidently, it means that you are very well aware of the blood flow through the heart, and memorizing the diagram becomes a lot easier when you are aware of the blood flow through the heart. Okay, so I said before, the heart is a vital area in the body. So VA is the acronym that we're going to be using. So let's start with the vena cava. We know that this is the vena cava, and we're going to start from there. So from the vena cava, we're going to pinpoint the main areas that the blood goes through. So from the vena cava, V, A, V, A, V, A, V, A. So just don't worry about everything else. Just label them V's and A's for now. Okay, so it's just VA 4 times. So the first V is for vena cava, the second A is for atrium, the next V is for ventricle, the next A is for artery, the next V is for vein, the next A is for atrium, and the next V is for ventricle, and the next A is for aorta. Okay, so we labeled this artery and vein, but we know that this is the pulmonary artery because it's carrying blood from the heart to the lungs. Remember, pulmonary is associated with the lungs, so it's carrying blood away from the heart. That's why it's an artery to the lungs. So pulmonary artery, and this is respectively called the pulmonary vein. The next thing that we need to know is the valves. So the acronym doesn't actually contain the valves, but you just need to memorize this separately. So let's take a look at the valves that are inside the pulmonary artery. Quite simply, it's called the pulmonary valves, and inside the aorta, it's called the aortic valve. Pretty simple. Valves basically just prevent backflow of the blood, and you should know that already, right? So there are 2 extra valves that separate the atrium and the ventricle to prevent backflow of blood from the ventricle back to the atrium, right? So on the right side of the heart, the valve is called the tricuspid, and the left side of the heart, the valve is called mitral. But there you go, that's basically everything you need to know, and it's been done under 5 minutes, so memorize that and you should be sweet. Thank you.